Prophet of omens, give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
Okay, and I have no baseball. I have like shit. I'm running out of things to watch here. Even though I do find random things. Like, well, you don't watch like because they have like a show that's out now about the Dynasty Lakers, aka slash the Magic Johnson kind of story. Because it's like when he got drafted there. Pretty good the first episode. That's something that I just started watching. Some good shit on that. But I'm trying to think, like there's really nothing else. I've been watching wrestling for like the last fucking like 3 weeks. I feel like my brain is burnt out.
Like, it's everything I've been watching is kind of like I watched the Michael Jordan documentary. I watched the Kanye documentary. Damn, I haven't been watching anything like new besides that.
See, I would talk about the Jordan shit, but that shit's like 2 years old now. But I can't blame you because I know you don't watch sports. So you wouldn't
really
even know.
2 years old?
Nigga, they dropped that shit literally when the pandemic and they closed down everything. ESPN said yes. And they just started literally the only thing to look forward to for a sports fan like me was Sundays I would go home and I knew that they were dropping 2 episodes at night so I could watch those 2 episodes. Like that's that's all we had for like 2020 until like June when baseball started, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that happened. But the Kanye West doc, because we haven't talked about that. Like, how did you feel about it? Like, what did you get out of it?
I felt like I understood a little bit more about him. Like, you know, I'm not saying that I know everything about that I need to know.
I know him,
but it's like it was one of those things where it was just like, all right, he seemed like you see the breakdown in his psyche, especially after his mother died. And I knew that because I think right after his mother died, he made 808 and Heartbreak, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could tell even from his style of music that it totally changed, and then it was just like breakdown, and then he started getting in trouble and all those like clips.
Yeah, it just went crazy. Yeah.
So I was just like, damn. So I knew it was something to do with mom, but to see, I think the last episode made me sad because it was just like this guy was his friend, and he was doing this before he got famous when he was busting his ass to be.
Yeah, he helped him get there. Yeah, he helped him.
And then it was just like he fell off. And then you just see like, he was just like, but I did my own family. I had my own girl. You know, I did all the stuff. And then he went back and when he was in DR or Puerto Rico, when he was talking, like Kanye was talking crazy with those white people, like about property. And then he just goes on a thing. He's like, I never heard him talk like that. I had to shut off the camera. And I was just like, damn, that must suck as like a friend, like an actual friend, and just being like, yo, what's going on with him, man? Like, I don't know his daughter. His daughter don't know my daughter. He just blew up, and then he went off the rails, and then, you know, I'm back at home doing nothing.
Nah, it's a fact, but that's part of what a lot of that shit is like. Because when you look at it, like throughout that, like there was a very humble version of Kanye that we got as fans, like the outsiders that we seen him be egotistical, but you knew there was a little slight humbleness there.
Yeah.
So whatchamacallit, within that happening and everything, like when he got to like his mom passing, it was always tossed like, oh, you know, he's gonna lose it. So the Taylor Swift shit, like when they show it, it's like drink it. It was a systematic breakdown, but to say like he was like, oh, he don't know him like that is like, yeah, you don't know him like that because at the same time he's talking in a different mindset of money. So he's talking about owning houses and doing things like that. Like he's now thinking different because he has a different income, a different like status that he could control this shit. You know what I mean? Like, so it's a lot of weird things. Like, because I do feel him like he needed to cut it off the camera. Like there was a couple of times because you could even tell at the part where when he first said he first seen Kanye again after mad years when he went to the concert party shit, and like Kanye was fucking with him saying his name wrong. But you could see it started to get to him. Yeah. It was getting to him for a minute, and then he's just like, then Kanye's like, nah, like I know. But you could tell it was like a mixture that Kanye, nah, you were drunk and you were fucking up and saying it wrong.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you did realize that later, like, oh, nah, this is like my man. Like, I do know his name and shit. But it's a real concept. Like, I could just imagine, like, all the shit, especially like a person like him who he's done like that documentary didn't even touch like nowhere near half the stuff that he's ever
Oh
done.
no.
Yeah, like so it's
Well,
like
the
he's
documentary was just
everywhere.
his friend recording. Like that was just the recordings
Mhm.
of his friend, you know. So it wasn't his whole
Yeah.
actual life and discography and all the things he's
Nah,
doing.
it was more just for it was for us like me, like my nerd side. Every
Yeah,
clip that I seen him in front of a mic and he was performing, and I'm like, this is one of the greatest albums ever, and I get to see at least little snippets of him
yeah,
performing like certain songs and him doing it by himself. I thought it was
yeah,
awesome. Like he's sitting there like I got, and then just like F it, like if you ain't gonna help me, I'm gonna just do it myself. And I was just like, that shit is dope. That was dope as hell to me.
yeah. But that's why he's
Yeah.
one of the greatest because it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's just something like I said, snapped. Maybe he always had like some kind of mental thing, and his mom really
Yeah.
was like his stable.
The
But
balance.
it was just after it was like you get to see it though, like you saw the push, even with the when he got into the accident and right after he got signed. So it was just
Yeah.
like, oh man, like not everyone else, but most people would just give up. Like I just ruined everything
Mm-hmm.
with this stupid fucking car accident.
Yeah, he
And
would have thought he could never rap.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then yeah, and it was just funny too because he
Mm-hmm.
was even seeing him in the Rockefeller office where he would just like walk in and just be like, you know, I want everyone to
Yeah.
listen to like I had to force my way. I want people to see me not just as a
Mm-hmm.
producer rapper, as a rapper. And
Yeah.
I'm also a producer, you know, but I want to be the best
Mm-hmm.
rapper regardless.
Yeah,
Not
and
be
that's the crazy shit. Like, because like the people that obviously were the insiders more, like when they talk about the documentary, they were like, nah, like because fans are saying like, how stupid can these people be? How do you not realize like all fall downs, like that song was gonna be amazing? And like
yeah,
one of the people I was listening to was just like, yo, Kanye used to go and do that every day. He would just
yeah,
walk and just like nonstop. So it was like at a point it gets annoying. So it was like, nah, I understand both sides of it. But it was like,
yeah,
yeah, y'all kind of were missing something there a little bit.
yeah,
But I think one of the cooler things is like how you talk about like after the car crash, like the true legend, like when it came down to like that the urban legend of a rapper like type shit, like when they first coming up, that was what
yeah,
Kanye was like. Everybody's like, yo, you never heard this song? Like, yo, he rapped with his jaw shut, da da da, wired up. Like it was, it's hard still to this day. Like if you go through downloads, trying like back when we had LimeWire, you would look
yeah,
for that. There's two versions of it. There's a version of it with him regular, and then there's a version where you could tell that he's rapping
yeah,
with his jaw closed and shit. So it was like that was one of the first things that drew my attention to him, and then I just became a freaking stan basically after that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think I just thought the last episode was sad because I
Mm.
just felt for the friend, but I felt for him because you seen the decline, and
Yeah,
then you just see like man, and then you know everything that's happening to him now and all that crap. So I was just like, shit,
yeah.
man. Like, how do you? And then
No, it
how
sucks.
fast time passes too. Because I'm thinking like I
Mm.
remember when he came out, and then now I'm this age, and it's this long ago, and I was just like, shit.
Nah, that
But
shit runs through. Like he's one of those. He's one of the few artists that I have that when I listen to their music, I can remember certain times in my life
yeah,
because it was like a part of a soundtrack to everything. Like, because that's how great. Like, they don't like you don't hype up a Kanye West album drop for no reason. Like the nigga's been consistent his whole career. Like I only dislike one album, and that album is mostly religious. Like
yeah,
so, it's like besides that, like the guy always has at least a certified. You're gonna find 5 songs that are fire no matter what. Like at least for you, like your preference, what you want and
yeah,
shit from him.
yeah,
But besides that, like I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. There was shoot, what the hell? There's there was I can't remember it. Damn it. But there's like this thing about when he works. Like I wanted to see him work with Jay-Z a little bit more, to be honest, because I
okay,
know him and Jay-Z worked a lot. Because they always talk about how Jay is, and they even said it in the doc. Like he goes like, "Yo, I just played the beat, and he just went in there and he did his whole verse." I need to see that before I give this guy credit, because
yeah,
they don't document this ever.
yeah,
They just say it. I hear it from everybody, but I never see anybody being like, "Yo, I just put this beat and he recorded a whole song in one take." I need to see that.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I thought the
mm,
exact same thing when they were doing that, when they were talking about
mm,
Jay Z like that, and I was just like, are they? Is it just like what do you call it? Like mythology? Like nobody, nobody really ever
yeah,
seen him do it. They just said that they
yeah,
heard that he did it. Like I was just like you said, if I heard it and I knew like, okay, this is the first time he heard the beat and he just like, yo, let's let me go in there, then like you said, I'll be like, all right, that was kind of cool. I ain't gonna lie. That's dope. But from I don't know, I just can't put
It's
Jay-Z
hard for me
as
to
one of
believe.
the-
It's just hard. It's hard for me to believe because of this, especially for a Kanye beat and a Kanye aspect. Like that man is so nitpicky about how he does shit and how his beats is, and like he makes beats for certain sounds of the rappers that he wants on it. That's why you always hear different shit when he has features. That it was just like, nah, I can't just see Jay-Z. Like there's all right, there's one song that I'm trying to remember what the hell's the name of it on the first album with him and Jay. It's actually the only song on the first album with him and Jay. But basically, Jay's last verse to end it, I'll give him possibility of him spitting those 16 bars off the top of the head because it sounded like a freestyle. But his first verse, that sounded like, nah, I wrote this, so now you write this because it makes the song work, because they're putting the song together,
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, but then I'm a Jay-Z hater. Like, listen,
Well,
like,
I am.
if you don't realize half the shit that I see, like, listen, he does do decent, good stuff, but at the same time, there's a lot of fakeness to him. Like, it's hard for me to back a person that there's a lore where it's like, oh, if you say something bad about him and he hears it and he don't like it, he might blackball you because he does that. He's done that to people. He blackball you out of fucking a record, like to go record or work with a company. Like if Jay-Z works for them and he don't like that you said something about him, oh, you fucked. Yeah. Same, like it just happens like that. Drake has that same power. People have that power.
Yeah.
Yeah.